Hello everyone, welcome back, and today in this video I wanted to talk about Hansi Flick's summer plan for FC Barcelona because I think it's going to be a lot different than the one that Xavi had planned before he left, and I think maybe Hansi Flick's going to give some players a chance that maybe Xavi wasn't giving chances to, and also think he's going to target different players to join the club in the summer, and I hope the board and Laporta they're able to give him those signings, and yeah, I just wanted to talk about all of that today. And the first potential signing that I wanted to talk about was Thiago from Liverpool, who's obviously going to be a free agent in the summer, and he's played for Barcelona, he's also played for Bayern Munich under Hansi Flick, and Thiago, he's a great player on his day, but he's definitely struggled with injury problems in the last couple seasons, and I just don't know if it's maybe the best idea to give him a big contract if he's to come in and join Barcelona, because I think he has a ton of quality, he has a lot of talent. Of course, on the ball, he's incredible, and he is a joy to watch when he's able to play, but I just don't think Barcelona should be adding another injury-prone midfielder. I just don't think that's maybe the best idea. But there are also rumors that he might be coming as a player coach, that maybe he would just be more of an assistant manager to Hansi Flick, and to be honest, I would like to see that if he wants to begin his managerial career, but I don't really believe that for a second. I'd be very surprised if that does happen, because Fabrizio Romano, he reported earlier, I would say like last month, that Thiago wanted to stay in Europe, and he wanted to compete at the top level, so I'm guessing he's going to want to play next season somewhere, and it'd be a nice signing to see him coming back to Barcelona, but I have a feeling that it's not going to happen. I don't think he would lower his salary to the level that Barcelona should be giving him, because they definitely should not be giving him a big contract given the fact that he has not been able to play a lot. I think he missed almost an entire year of football, so I don't think it's the best signing in my opinion. I feel like it's not going to happen. I think it's probably just because of Hansi Flick joining, and because he's a free agent in the summer, there's probably just some talk starting because of that, but I don't think he's going to join in the summer. It would be nice to see, but I just don't think it's probably the right signing for the club, given the current situation. And one player that I'm really excited to see what Hansi Flick does with is Ansu Fati, because there have been some reports that he's possibly going to leave on loan to Sevilla, but I hope this is just the last summer. I feel like this might be his last chance to stay at Barcelona and see how well he does, because, the past couple seasons haven't been great. I don't think he had that productive of a loan spell at Brighton, and I would really like to see Hansi Flick give him a chance, because I think maybe he matches the system more with what Hansi Flick wants to do compared to what Xavi did, because obviously Xavi made it very clear that he did not have Ansu Fati in his plans, and if Xavi was still a coach, Ansu Fati I don't think would have gotten a chance at Barcelona, but because it's Hansi Flick, there really might be a chance, and depending on the signings that Barcelona can make, if they can't get a very direct winger to play on the left-hand side, then Ansu Fati, I really think he might have the ability to be a player of the club next season, and I would really like to see that. And I'm definitely not expecting or predicting that Ansu Fati will get back to the level that he was at before those two injuries, but I still think there's a great player in there if he's given the opportunity, and if he has the confidence, and those are definitely question marks, and we don't know for sure if Ansu Fati is going to be able to come back and really give too much to Barcelona, but I just want to see him try. I don't think he got the real chance under Xavi. I just think he messed up a couple times when he was playing. I remember that shot that he blocked from Garcia. Yeah, that was rough. I think that was a turning point for his Barcelona career. And yeah, obviously things haven't been very favorable for Ansu Fati. The injuries that he had, they're very serious. He hasn't been able to get back to that level. But I hope Hansi Flick gives Fati a chance in the summer. I would really like to see that, and especially if Barcelona signed Nico Williams and Xavi Simons, then I would understand Ansu Fati probably not having a place in the team, and then it's likely that he would go on loan to Sevilla or another club. But if they're not able to sign a true left winger, then why not give Ansu Fati a chance and see how well he does? I would really like to see that happen, but we'll just have to wait and see. But in my opinion, I think Ansu Fati's future, it does look a little bit brighter at Barcelona because Hansi Flick joined, because obviously with Xavi, there was no chance he was going to join back, but with Flick, it might be a possibility this summer. And then another player that I think the Hansi Flick appointment has an opposite effect on is Eric Garcia, because it was very likely that he was going to return to the club in this summer, because I think he had a very successful loan spell at Girona. He did very well with them. He was a consistent starter, and they got third in the league. They did 30 points better than they did in the last season. And Eric Garcia, he was an important piece of that puzzle, but I still don't know if he really has a future at the club. But with Xavi, I think he really liked Eric Garcia. He had said it wasn't even his plan to send him out on loan. He wanted to keep him at the club, and he said it was in his plans to bring Eric Garcia back. But I do not think with Hansi Flick's system that Eric Garcia is going to be a priority to return to the club. And if Girona is offering, 15, 25 million, I would say go ahead and take that. No offense to Eric Garcia. I don't want to say that's his level, but I think maybe he's more comfortable in Girona's team, because with Barcelona, he's a great passer. He is good on the ball. He has, he's able to find the passes through and connect to the midfield. But just defensively, he's a liability. And especially if Hansi Flick is going to play higher up the pitch, if he's, going to have players pressing and there's going to be more space in behind, I don't know if Eric Garcia is going to do great in that system, especially with the 2-back. With Girona, I've seen him play as maybe a right center back and a 3-back, and maybe that suits him a little bit better. I think it's probably best for his career and for the club if he's let go in the summer. And I have a feeling that Hansi Flick is not going to do a ton of work to bring him back to the club. But with Xavi, it was the opposite. I think, he didn't want Ansu Fati at the club, but he wanted to bring Eric Garcia back. With Hansi Flick, I think it's going to be the opposite. I think Eric Garcia is probably going to leave the club, but Ansu Fati, hopefully he'll come back in the summer. But that brings me to the 3 signings that I think Xavi wanted to make, which would be Xavi Simons, Nico Williams, and then Guido Rodriguez. I have a feeling that Hansi Flick is going to want to bring different players to the club. I don't know what that means for Guido Rodriguez and Nico Williams. For Xavi Simons, I think it's going to remain the same. I think whoever the coach is for Barcelona, I think they'll want to bring Xavi Simons back. Whether it's on loan or a loan with an option to buy, which would be the best case scenario, I really hope that Xavi Simons, he has a place in the squad next year. And I think that one can be a real possibility, because with financial fair play, we don't know the leverage that the club has to go out and sign players. But if it's on a loan, like we saw with Cancelo and Joao Felix, you can still bring players with quality to the squad without spending a ton of money on a signing on bonus. So I really hope that's the case with Xavi Simons, and I think that Hansi Flick, Xavi Simons would do very well in that system. Whether it's on the left, whether it's centrally, I think Hansi Flick would definitely find a space for him in the team. And like I said, that would be such a good signing. But for Nico Williams, I don't know. I'm guessing that Hansi Flick would still like to bring him to the club, but maybe he's not pushing for it as much as Xavi was. And with Guido Rodriguez, those talks have slowed down because Xavi left. I mean, he was a player that Xavi wanted to bring, but is Hansi Flick going to play with a true defensive midfielder like Guido Rodriguez? Is he going to fit in the system very well? And that's a question that, the club's going to have to answer in the next couple of weeks, because I think it was very likely that Guido Rodriguez was going to join the club, and I'm guessing there's still going to be talks there, but I don't know if Hansi Flick really has him in his plans next season. And also, what does this appointment mean for Joao Felix and Joao Cancelo? Because there have definitely been talks about Barcelona trying to extend their loan, or for Cancelo at least, buy him permanently. I don't know if Hansi Flick is going to have them in his plans, and we're just going to have to wait and see what their future is going to be like at Barcelona. I think, at the beginning of the season, for both of them, really, it looked very strong, and it looked like, man, Barcelona really might have to buy both of them in the summer because they're performing so well. But it just tailed off in the last couple months of the season. Like Cancelo, I think in those big games defensively, he was just such a huge liability. It is hard to look past that, even though I think overall he has been successful at the club. I just don't know if it's the right idea for Barcelona to spend 15 to 20 million on him in the summer. But if Hansi Flick has a spot for him in the team, of course, the club's going to have to listen to that. But in my opinion, and what everyone is thinking, is that Alejandro Balde is going to be the starting left back next season if he comes back from injury very well and he's able to stay healthy. So does Cancelo really have a space in the team? Because if it's Cancelo and Balde both at the fullbacks, is that going to work? Cancelo has definitely been proven that he was defensively not the best, and in those big games, you want to be able to trust your fullbacks. And I think that back line of Koundé and Balde, and then Araujo and Christensen in the middle, that worked very well the season before. And so I have a feeling that it's not going to be Cancelo starting every single game next season. I could be wrong about that, but for Joao Felix, it's difficult for me to decide if Hansi Flick is going to have him in his plans. In my opinion, I could see him not coming back to the club in the summer. And honestly, both of them could leave, and that could have been their last game for Barcelona yesterday in the game against Sevilla. And there have also been talks about Joshua Kimmich following Hansi Flick to Barcelona. I don't know if I'm going to believe those for a second, to be honest, because I don't think the club can match his salary demands. I also just don't think they can pay 35 to 40 million to Bayern, especially I think he only has 1 or 2 years left on his contract. So I just don't think it's going to happen in the summer. We've heard this for the last 2 summers. I do not see Kimmich joining the club, but I could be wrong about that. Would he be a good fit for Barcelona? I think under Hansi Flick, maybe he would be able to get the best out of him. Still don't know if he's a true 6. There's been a lot of arguments about that. I have to watch him more because, I feel like in some games, I just couldn't see him and Frankie de Jong and Gundogan, without a true defensive midfielder. But unless Hansi Flick has a completely different system, if they're going to try and play the 4-3-3, I think they're going to need more of a 6 than Joshua Kimmich. But that could just be my opinion. I could be definitely wrong about that, but yeah, I just don't think that Kimmich is going to be joining the club in the summer. And yeah, I just feel like the club is going to be targeting other players. And like I said in my last video, it's exciting because I don't know what to expect, but also with the summer signings, I don't really know who's going to be able to join the club because, again, we don't know the financial fair play. We don't know the finances that the club has. We don't know if they have the ability to even register players for next season. I hope they can. I hope they can make a couple good signings on the market. If not, a couple free transfers would definitely help the club and add some quality. With Hansi Flick, I just don't know what to expect. With Xavi, it was very obvious that he was going into next season, trying to buy a defensive midfielder, maybe two of them, and then also a left winger. I think those were the priorities for Xavi. But with Hansi Flick, I mean, there have been some reports that he's looking at a backup goalkeeper, another center back. If Araujo leaves, he would definitely have to get another center back. Yeah, there's a lot of different reports that are coming out, and it's difficult to know what positions Hansi Flick is targeting. We'll have to wait and see in the summer, but yeah, I'm still guessing that players like Xavi Simons and hopefully Nico Williams, they would still be targets for the summer, but I do think the appointment of Hansi Flick, it definitely changes things for the club. And another player that I'm excited about is Vitor Roque going into next season because I think Hansi Flick, I'm sure that he's been watching Barcelona games because it's been pretty obvious how much he's wanted this job. And so he's been keeping up with games, and I think especially at the beginning of the season, you saw that Lewandowski could not be your consistent starter, playing 90 minutes every single week. And Vitor Roque, I think that's where he comes in because I'm not expecting him to start every single week. I think he has shown moments where he's shown his quality. Sometimes maybe he gets bullied off the ball a little bit and, his touches aren't the best. Sometimes his decision making, it's not up to speed. But I think that's all completely normal given the fact that this is his first 6 months in a big European league. So, it's completely understandable. I didn't really like the treatment that Xavi gave Vitor Roque because I think after that red card that he got, and he scored 2 goals in 2 games, then he got the red card, then he came back, and he really never played again. Besides the last 2 or 3 games of the season, he came on with 10-15 minutes to go. I'm not expecting Hansi Flick to make him a starter next season. I definitely don't think that's going to happen at all. But it'd be nice to have him as the second number 9 for the club. And, I think he's capable of playing in that role. We'll have to see what happens with Ferran Torres because there have been some reports that Barcelona are listing him on the market and they're going to listen to offers for him in the summer. I'm hit or miss with Ferran Torres. I think he does have a lot of quality. Barcelona haven't been able to get the best out of him. And I think another club could, and he could become a really good player that would be worth, the 55 million price tag that Barcelona paid for him a couple seasons ago. But I think the backup number 9, it would be Vitor Roque, unless the club wants to try and sign someone else. I really like Joshua Zirkzee from Bologna, but I don't think that's going to happen. Barcelona can't make that signing happen. So, going into next season, if Lewandowski is the starter, Vitor Roque is playing as his backup. And then it depends. If Ferran Torres is at the club, maybe he would be the second string striker. But if he's not there, I think they are going to trust Vitor Roque, and I would like to see that. Again, I don't think we should expect him to come and score, a bunch of goals next season, but you'd like him to get consistent playing time. A preseason would be really nice with the club to hopefully get more acclimated with the club and gain some more confidence and, just be able to kind of engage with your teammates more and feel out how the club wants to play. I'm excited for that, and I think Vitor Roque, I hope he has a very big role in Hansi Flick's team next year. But with the new coach being announced, I think in the past couple days there have been a lot of links to new players, and for me it's exciting because Nico Williams and Xavi Simons, those two would have been great signings. Guido Rodriguez probably just would have been a squad player, but I wasn't exactly going into next season expecting much different. But with Hansi Flick, as I said, I just don't know what to expect, and I think he's going to bring in some different players that I think can hopefully contribute and play the way that he wants to play. And I hope, the players that Barcelona currently have, they're able to adapt to that, and it gets the best out of the individuals, and of course as a collective team. And that's what I want the most out of Hansi Flick. I'm not expecting him to come in and win a bunch of trophies next season, but you just want to see progress. And I think Xavi, he took the club as far as he could take it, and it just kind of stalled. After that, it didn't seem like there was much improvement going on. With Hansi Flick, I hope he can build on that and take Barcelona even higher. And like I said, I hope Laporta and the club can give him the signings that he wants to make. But I'm sure in the next couple weeks, the next 2 months, we're going to hear a lot about the signings that he wants to make for the club. And as always, thank you very much for watching my video. I do appreciate it, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. VISCA BARCA as always, and see you all later. Peace.